A rewarding Easter for Warrington, a fruitless one for Wakefield. So, in the quest to avoid the bottom four and ultimately the middle eight qualifiers, this game today, effectively, is a four-pointer. Survival and avoidance was top of the agenda at Widnes last night, where the Vikings recorded a first home win of the season against neighbours St Helens. 2 tries, including a late one from Patrick Arvan, gave Widnes a thrilling 2-point win. Now, Leeds were last night and Salford are in cup action this weekend, so a great chance for the leaders Castleford at Hull to open up a 2-point gap at the top of the table tomorrow. A big game too at Wigan, where the Warriors in 4th entertain 6th place Catalan Dragons. Let's confirm that now, because the victory doesn't lift Widnes off the foot of the table, but it closes the gap to just 1 point. Huddersfield and Lee are in Challenge Cup action this weekend as well, so you can see how vital this game is for Warrington. They're just 2 points better off than the Vikings, and Wakefield will leapfrog the Catalan Dragons with a victory here. But they have won just 3 of 13 previous visits to this ground. Right, let's run through the teams on duty here then, shall we? And Warrington have got Kevin Brown returning to their squad, but Declan Patton and Kirk Gidley have formed a half-back pairing that's got Warrington winning again. So Patton keeps his place in the starting 13. Mike Cooper, Toby King and Darrell Clark, who is suspended, all drop out of the side that beat Huddersfield here on Monday. Brad Dwyer is the ideal replacement for Clark, who has joined the former Wakefield man Ben Westwood on the naughty step. Kevin Brown has to be content with the place on the bench as he returns from a nasty bout of concussion. Now to Wakefield, and they're without Matty Ashurst for the first time this season. Centres Bill Tupu, Joe Arundel and Rhys Lynn remain on the sidelines as well. So Mason, Caton Brown and Ashley Gibson, who didn't do too much wrong in the defeat against Wigan on Monday, continue. In the forwards, as well as lacking Ashurst, Trinity are without prop Mitch Allgood for the first time in 7 games. The big Aussie is out for up to 6 weeks with a broken hand. Wakefield's most recent win here came 3 years ago, and only Danny Kermond remains from that team, and he plays today in the second row. On the bench, goal kicker Sam Williams missed Easter Monday against Wigan. He's back. And watch out for the promising young forward James Batchelor when he is given the nod by coach Chris Chester. So Wakefield, 3 points ahead of Warrington on the league ladder, as you have seen. They entered Easter winning 3 in a row. But the fixtures planners have given them a tough old time. A visit to the league leaders Castleford, followed by the home meeting against the champions. Far from disgraced in either game, but they came up short on both occasions. Warrington, 2 wins in a row over Easter, really rewarding for them against Widnes and Huddersfield, 2 fellow members of the bottom 4. It's 3 wins in a row now and 4 without defeat. And Wakefield came here and entertained Warrington 4 times last year. Warrington won 3. They won here in Super League. They lost at Wakefield 28-36, beat them in the cup semi-final at Lee handsomely 56-12, and then won a Super 8 match at Bellevue last August by 38 points to 10. And the Warrington supporters who are here will be expecting similar fare this afternoon on a gloriously sunny spring afternoon. Perfect for rugby league, perfect for a good fast-flowing game, we hope, and perfect also for Terry, Barry and Phil alongside me. Should be a good game, this.
Eddie, excellent conditions and the pitch is firm on the foot. The fans have turned out, the sun's shining. Both sets of players will be looking to play some free, expansive play, and I'm sure we're in for a fast, exciting contest. Look at Wakefield, they've got it all on to come here to Warrington, who've picked up points, valuable league points in the last 4 games. They were disciplined the way that they played the game, the way that they turned the ball over on their terms, but Wakefield, we saw them when they played against Wigan, going down by just 6 points. What they've got, Wakefield, they've got a determination, and they're led by the likes of Liam Finn, Jacob Miller, Sam Williams, who starts this game on the bench. Well, 3 intelligent players, but they'll have to be on the metal up front to take on this Warrington side.
Barry, what do you make of the decision to leave number 6 Kevin Brown there on the bench by Tony Smith? Big money signing, big wages, young Declan Patton starts again.
I think it's in respect of the performances of Declan Patton. Certainly made a difference, and his contributions in the game, we've talked about his running, passing, kicking game, his confidence. But Kevin Brown is the type of player who will thrive on that doubt. Doesn't carry self-doubt into any game, I don't believe, Kevin Brown, but there's plenty of people just questioning the decision A, to bring him across from Widnes, and B, whether he deserves his spot in this team. But Kevin Brown, I believe, will make a big difference to this Wolves side.
Well, Warrington have kept Wakefield waiting in the tunnel before they have joined them to come out here past the match ball and ready for the kick-off in this Betfred Super League match. As I say, Phil, perfect conditions. The supporters of Warrington will want them to be perfect as well, because they've been misfiring all season. Today is the chance they could just cut loose.
Well, it's fair to say that they haven't played to their potential, even though they've started to win games. And it is a real test for them. Although Wakefield arrived here as underdogs, they've survived in the Super League for well over a decade now, because they've thrived as the underdog. They've managed to get up with more enthusiasm and sometimes more skill and speed than their opponents. And they have two of the fastest and best wingers in the competition in Tom Johnston and Ben Jones-Bishop. They've also got an exciting addition, as you said, number 21, Max Jowett, the fullback for Wakefield. We have seen him occasionally before, but he might just have the X factor that Wakefield need here today.
Well, the two sides waiting to get going, and Wakefield are here chasing that first win in 3 years. They do look a little bit vulnerable, being drawn into the battle to avoid the middle eights if they lose again here. The last win, and Ben Thaler is the match referee today. The last win at Warrington, 2014, 40 points to 26, a hat-trick from a former Warrington winger, Chris Riley, on that particular occasion. And Benjamin Julien, the Frenchman, is in the side, and he played really well over the bank holiday weekend as well. Liam Finn will be expected to get the Wolves moving forward, and Chris Hill, Warrington's kipper, is waiting to get this going. So Stefan Ratchford is placing the ball very carefully on the centre spot, and we'll be away any moment now when we hear the whistle from Ben Thaler, the first one, and let's hope there's not too many of them this afternoon. There we go. Ben Thaler says let's get going, and Stefan Ratchford does exactly that. Deep kick-off into the sunshine, and it was Johnson who was underneath the kick-off, and Anthony England, the former Warrington prop forward, who joined Wakefield last year, is greeted by the first tackle of the afternoon.
Well, Wakefield are the side that need to dictate the speed of this game. Don't let Warrington get the numbers in, try and slow you down. That man, Fafita, who starts the game, he's so powerful, and Warrington will have it all on trying to stop him. But the movement of the ball from Wakefield, it can't just be 5 drives and a kick if they want to come away with the 2 league points here.
It's Kyle Wood who is at dummy half. Here is that man, Fafita, again, who will carry the battle in the forwards, I'm sure, along with England, along with Hadley, Kermond and Arona. And the kick from Liam Finn is deep, but straight into the arms of Stefan Ratchford.
It was difficult for Finn to find any ground then, obviously wanting to kick the ball in behind Warrington, but the position of Ratchford there, he just gobbled that up. Tom Lynham here with a strong carry. They've been impressive. Ratchford and Lynham bringing the ball away from their own red zone.
It's Ryan Atkins now, ex-Wakefield, of course. Ryan Atkins, they picked up a couple of significant signings from Wakefield over the years, which have done so much to help their renaissance, the Warrington Wolves. Ben Westwood not playing today, Nathan Wood, of course, and also the likes of Ryan Atkins. Here is Chris Hill. He's reached tackle number 5. Will play the ball to Brad Dwyer, and Gidley will hoist the kick under a little bit of pressure from Miller. And that's a difficult take for young Jowett. The sun was streaming into his eyes. You could see him shielding his eyes as he pouched that ball and did well to hang on to it.
It was an important catch, not only for his confidence, but his team's confidence in him. He's an exceptional player. Replaces Grix, who's been so steady and such a valuable addition to to Trinity this year.
Yes, there he is, Jowett. You have to look after players like Scott Grix, who's played just about every game so far this season, the wrong side of 30. And here is a young man in Jowett who is 19 years of age. Meanwhile, this is David Fafita, who plays the ball to Kyle Wood, and Jacob Miller from inside his own half gets the kick away again, but that's easy for Lynham and no real pressure on him either.
Well, he doesn't really get the distance on it as well. It got a bit of hang time. but not the distance expecting to get.
To be fair to Wakefield, they are playing into the face of a pretty stiff breeze. The flag that flies over the Halliwell-Jones Stadium 7 days a week, 365 days a year, is going straight off its post, as you can see.
And you know that you're going to get kick pressure as a big challenge on Ashton Sims, but when it's Wakefield's turn to kick pressure will come from Warrington from minute 1 to minute 81.
Patton to Gidley. Gidley then to Jack Hughes. Chris Hill was standing, wasn't obstructing, according to Ben Thaler. Gidley with a little dab over the top. Well claimed, though, by Tom Johnson. Only Justin Carney and Alex Walmsley have made more metres forward than this young man in Super League this year. Now Jacob Miller.
I think if Tom Johnson was playing in a team in the top of the league, we'd see far more of him and hear his name mentioned more. He's an outstanding talent. And the challenge for Wakefield is to try and find him with some quality balls, space and plays and gaps in front of him.
Decent attack building here for Wakefield, as Liam Finn at dummy half gives it to Anthony England.
He's lost the ball there, Eddie.
Yes, he has. He was spotted by the officials as well. Well, he won't enjoy this, Anthony England, being a former Warrington man.
Well, Chris Hill, the number 8 for Warrington, does have his arms around the ball, but that Anthony England's got a better control of that. The field position that they get, it was because they won that tackle one. Tom Johnston, so good at bringing the ball back away from near his own try line. He gets his forwards on the front foot, and unfortunately for Wakefield, they just couldn't finish that set off better.
He's backed up by Ashley Gibson. He put another 10 metres dent into the Warrington defensive line.
Wakefield, stay on, boys!
So the scrum will form, and it will be fed by Kurt Gidley. 4.5 or thereabout minutes, and still waiting the first points. Harvey Levett now operating in the centres. And Mason Caton-Brown hanging on to his shirt tails, finished off by Johnson. Gidley gives it then to Rhys Evans, operating on the wing. Today is Rhys Evans, 50 try in rugby league for the Welsh international. Hill to Patton, and Patton then finds Ratchford, and Ratchford wide finds Lynham, who goes past Ben Jones-Bishop. Gibson is there to offer support with Max Jowett. Was waiting for a charge down the wing. Patton now in centre field to Westerman. Westerman gives it to Gidley. That's good hands. Here is Brad Dwyer.
Nice little play between Warrington, the inside pass.
Gidley attacking the line is Kurt Gidley.
Oh, little tip on then. I'm sure Levett would have been in for the opening try.
The referee shouted held, the referee called held.
It was a call before he got to Graham as well.
Yes, it was.
You're right with Harvey Levett. I think we'll see the best out of him. He's played all his junior rugby as a right centre. I think Warrington will get the benefit out of him.
Dwyer to Patton, kick from Patton, bounced very kindly, and Kermond can run it out, but only as far as Patton's challenge, and then Julian coming in a second push, and Wakefield get a very relieving penalty.
Eddie, first of all, it was a poor kick from Patton. He's better than that. And then obviously to give this penalty away, Benjamin Julian just close to the line. Here's the ball. When you see the inside ball to Dwyer, Wakefield just switched on and anticipated that play. But they've got to do it for the full 80 minutes. In these conditions, you've got to turn the ball over. You've got to get to your kick, but also you've got to make sure that you're fresh to defend every play.
England to his feet, plays the ball to Kyle Wood. Here is Jacob Miller again, and he was gobbled up by Jack Hughes. 40 metres away as Wood picks that ball up at the play of the ball. This now is Anthony England. That was a laboured run towards Brad Dwyer and the defenders.
He was already thinking about the pass. That's why it was like that, Eddie.
Arona to Finn. And Finn, well, they're lucky to escape there because that ball was not going to the correct man. But they did escape, courtesy of Jowett. And here now is Finn with a crossfield kick. This could bounce very carefully. And this is Wood, and he's put the kick in. It's going to be the first try of the afternoon here. And it goes to the number 15, Ashley Gibson, and Ben Thaler. He awards the try without reference upstairs to video referee Robert Hicks. First blood in the contest to Ashley Gibson and Wakefield. It was from a free play, I think. It was a charge down anyway.
Well, it was a 0. He was back to 1 in the tackle. It wasn't a free play, so it was a bit of a risk there.
A bit of a risk, but it's worth taking, isn't it? Wakefield, knowing that they've got to play out their game plan, and that was a ricochet from Warrington. Then the kick to that space for Ashley Gibson. When you look at Wakefield, you've seen them play on Sky Sports over the years. They're a team that like to work hard for each other, but they do bat their opportunities as well. And Kyle Wood, when he drops that ball onto his boot, he spots Gibson to his right-hand side, and it's good play from both of those players.
It does have a risk, the charge down, and we've seen lots of times, and I can think back directly to the World Club Challenge in that first try where it comes off for Warrington. Joe Westerman made a magnificent break for the opening try, but obviously Warrington were first to the bouncing ball, first to pick it up. It was a risk to kick it again, but it's 4 points to Trinity.
Indeed, scored by Ashley Gibson, who made his first appearance of the year against Wigan on Monday, almost a year since his last appearance in Super League. Well, he's marked his return with the opening try here, and Liam Finn will now try and add the extras. And he does that without much difficulty. And so Warrington 0, Wakefield 6.
Well, the positive thing here for Wakefield is their reaction time. As soon as the ball's ricocheted off the hand, they're the first to it. And every good team needs some risk takers. Kyle Wood takes that risk. It pays off because he has the skill to invite Ashley Gibson into the in-goal area with that kick. And that's a brilliant beginning here now against their side, who could come under some pressure. There'll be an anxiety amongst the home supporters. They know Warrington haven't played to the potential so far this season, and finding the right chemistry is a test for them. Made it even more difficult the fact that they're 6 points behind.
Well, over the past 10 years or so, there has been a spate of high-scoring contests between these two. Last season's 3 meetings in Super League averaged 54 points per game. So I think we're in for a little bit of entertainment here. If you like your tries and you like seeing spectacular tries scored, I think you're in the right place on this gloriously sunny spring afternoon. 9 minutes gone, Wakefield ahead 6-0.
And when Wakefield get into good field position, Eddie, they've got to take those opportunities. If they spot some space and there's not a Warrington jersey around that, just go for it. Just back yourself, play your play, and see what comes out.
And that's what they've done. That's a lovely ball to Miller. He's got Mason Caton-Brown in support. Here's the second try for Wakefield, and this one underneath the posts from Mason Caton-Brown. Well, how about this? They're 10-0 up inside the first 10 minutes, and Mason Caton-Brown gets his second try of the season. And it's gone pretty quiet at Warrington. It's only the Wakefield supporters behind those posts, and there's not thousands of them. The thousands of Warrington fans are shell-shocked.
Well, this is a beautiful play. We saw it from Warrington moments ago, where they found an inside pass. They create the space. The break is made by Jacob Miller. Just watch the setup here. Inside play. Miller, with 20 metres to go, has a decision to make. It's accurate enough for Mason Caton-Brown to collect that ball, and another quality try.
What a start for Wakefield and Chris Chester, their coach, and what an awful start for Tony Smith. Liam Finn is bang in front of the uprights. It's going to be 12-0 in a minute, and the signs not good early from a Warrington point of view. Liam Finn just steadying himself, the 25-time Irish international.
Back on, Pete.
Makes no mistake. Bangs the ball over the crossbar, right to the back of the terracing.
Well, Kyle Wood, the number 9 for Wakefield, was instrumental in the first try and in the second. The way that he feigned to go one way with the ball, and then just the angle of the hips and the way that the Warrington defenders were facing meant that they couldn't recover. Look, he sent them one way, committed Kirk Gidley, and that's opened the door for Miller down the centre.
No mean part from Dean Hadley as well, who gives that ball.
Just
Lovely
about to
play
mention
from the
him.
forward.
Yes, it was Dean Hadley. It was a beautiful inside pass. The man who's on loan from Hull. This is the second month he's been with Wakefield. So Warrington with work to do. 12-0 they trail to Wakefield, who really do have their tails up here. England plays the ball to Wood, and Hadley will bring it forward once again.
Eddie, they've got nothing to lose, have they, Wakefield?
Warrington have got everything to lose. Did any of us expect a 12-0 scoreline to Wakefield inside the first 12 minutes?
Honestly, no. No, I didn't. I thought that Warrington were going to start the game really strong, but you look at the starting pack for Wakefield. Look at the pivots that they've got. We've talked about them before. If the forwards can get on top, Wakefield will have some joy.
Well, that's the second drop ball from Anthony England on his old stomping ground. He won't want to watch the opening 11.5 minutes of this match from a personal point of view. From a team's point of view, it's gone perfect, but not for him. Well, here is Ashton Sims.
Well, this is a test for them. See how they can back up and solve these problems now. This is where Warrington like to play.
Patton taking them on, and in the end he is pulled to ground. It was Ashley Gibson who hunted him down, stopped the progress. Atkins now, solid, straightforward run from him to play the ball.
Play the ball, Eddie.
Here is Patton again, spotting up Liam Finn, but with a little bit of help from David Fafita. Patton is brought to ground. Dwyer to Ratchford. Ratchford then to Gidley. Gidley finds Jack Hughes. Tries to go inside Jacob Miller. Thought about the offload. Dean Hadley saw to it that that was not going to happen. 4 tackles gone. Wakefield have to respond again here because Gidley is attacking the line, and they do respond. They keep him the right side of the whitewash. Dwyer waits. Fires the pass then to Patton. And Patton, will he get away from the first challenge from Kermond? He got the kick in. The ball is patted back, and this could be a try for Ryan Atkins. Referee Ben Thaler doesn't want to give it without reference upstairs. Has to see where this ball came back from. They've got a try on the field, so the impression is that the ball was knocked backwards by Ryan Atkins. Even if it's knocked forward by Wakefield, it'll be given.
Well, first of all, we've got the kick across field. It was a delayed kick by Patton. We can see there's a player who is in front of the kicker.
It's the try scorer.
And is within the 10 metres. This may well be a saviour for Wakefield because he's going to score the try. Therefore, he's involved in the play. He's within that 10 metres and takes part in the play.
It's Ryan Atkins, isn't it?
It's the try scorer.
So if he's in front of the kicker, he can go towards the ball, but he must stay 10 metres away from the ball. If he ends up within 10 metres, then he's offside and can play no further part in the play.
Well, he's 2 metres off, Stuart.
He's definitely in front of the kicker, and he stays in front of the kicker. He doesn't go back behind where the ball was kicked, and because of that fact, this try should be disallowed.
Well, Atkins is the man who gets onto it and scores it. So the try is turned down. It was given as a try on the field by Ben Thaler. And that's what the referee, the video referee, is there for.
Well, it's just a warning shot, isn't it? Danny Kerman did ever so well to put pressure on the kicker Patton. Well, Ben Jones-Bishop, he was isolated. There was a couple of Warrington players in front of him. Tom Lynham getting the better of him up in the air.
Back on, Pete.
Looking to tap that ball back on the inside to his teammate Ryan Atkins.
And it would have been a sweet moment for Atkins. He's on 197 career tries, 49 of them for Wakefield between 2006 and 2009, but chalked off by video referee Robert Hicks. So it stays at 12-0 to Wakefield. Fafita again here now, and Hadley on the angled run, fed by Miller. 3 Warrington defenders deal with the threat. It was the front row. And Wood with a little dash away from dummy half, and then he changes the direction again, gives it then to Hadley once more. Here is Fafita. Wakefield standing around, loitering with intent, waiting for the pass to come.
Eddie, it wasn't good enough, that passage of play then from Wakefield.
Jowett gets the ball away again, and Gibson is grounded by Lynham's challenge. Last tackle here for Wakefield. The kick will go up from Liam Finn. This should be easy enough for Rhys Evans, and is. And he escapes the first lunge, he escapes the second and third, and he escapes the fourth, and Rhys Evans is away. And that's a very important chase back by Caton Brown.
He's a good player, isn't he, Rhys Evans?
Harvey Levett now to the halfway line for Warrington.
There's another player. Made his debut in round 1. Certainly come of age, isn't he? Harvey Levett.
And playing in the centres, which is his preferred position for the first time today.
Yeah, it's very good, I'm sure. He's a name we'll hear a lot of over the next few years, Harvey Levett.
Chris Hill takes it forward, tackle number 4. Brad Dwyer to Westerman. Here's Patton again, and Patton goes wide to Atkins. Atkins trapped on one leg, gets it back to Patton. Now it's Westerman. Westerman has support there from Dwyer, keeps going himself, and that's flicked up in the air to Gidley, and it's 6 to go. 6 to go. He's going to bring it back for the original offence, which is the knock-on, and a head and feet at the scrum to Warrington.
So more pressure here for Wakefield.
Well, do you know what? There won't be many players on this field, if there are any, who are faster than Mason Caton-Brown over 40 metres. He is one of the quickest, and it was essential there that he got back to stop Rhys Evans.
And stop him he did. Mason Caton-Brown at Salford last year, and of course formerly with the London Broncos. So head and feed at this scrum to Warrington, 15 metres out. Ryan Atkins, denied earlier by the video referee, gets the ball away to Patton again, and he says to his skipper Chris Hill, "You have a go." Barks down the middle, which is exactly what he does. Another big test of this Wakefield defence coming up. Well, not for long, because Brad Dwyer went without it.
That's a mistake from Brad Dwyer. Dummy half, he knows what he's doing. He's trying to do it before he's picked the ball up.
It's fascinating to see how Warrington cope here now with I mean, all teams try and play with an ignorance of the scoreboard. That isn't always possible. They're 12-0 behind. They can sense from the crowd that things aren't going the way they want them to. They've knocked on again. They've had good field position, but they're not turning it into points on the scoreboard.
And you don't know how that no try will affect them, Phil. Do they look at it as, this might not be our day, or do they look at it as, well, next time we'll get those 4, possibly 6 points?
Wakefield looking busy with Dean Hadley, making good progress on the 2 tackles there. Now they're midway inside their own half. Oh, Ben Jones-Bishop. Wow, what a hit that was from Benjamin Julian.
How many times have we seen him do that? He throws himself into every contact, doesn't he? Benjamin Julian, he cuts across a couple of his players. He spots that it's a slow play, the ball. Look at this. Comes across 2 of his teammates. Wow.
Fafita hangs on for Wakefield. Well, Benjamin Julian's tackle has lifted Warrington visibly. With a kick from Liam Finn is straight down the middle and into the arms of Stephen Ratchford. And Ratchford trying to use his pace. Halted by Anthony England.
As soon as Ratchford looked up, he's spotting for word of space in that Wakefield line. He looked up and there was a gap left by Fafita. He needs to make sure that he pushes up in support, doesn't give opportunities to a man like Stephen Ratchford.
Patton to Hill. And Chris Hill saw a gap, and he's got support from Patton. Good play from the young standoff. Gets it away to Dwyer. Here now is Ratchford. Ratchford gets it away to Atkins. They must score out wide. Maybe not. Maybe not. Lynham didn't have the confidence to take them on and will be bundled towards the sideline. Somehow stays in the field of play. That's a knock-on. That's a knock-on by Lynham. He's complaining that Ben Jones-Bishop interfered.
That's a dreadful shame for Warrington. Lovely play, led by Chris Hill, the captain. A nice offload, some soft hands. They found space, but again, great defence from Trinity.
I'm not sure that what Tom Lynham is complaining about here.
No, that may be his frustration with himself, and he's in desperation asking for some help from the referee.
Well, I think he's put the ball down against Jowett's foot. I think that was the issue. Jowett was moving back round, but, you know, he's in control of it there.
We saw a couple of players shooting the line. Benjamin Julian for Warrington, who come up with a brilliant hit. Anthony England shoots the line. He misses Chris Hill.
No, he doesn't touch any foot there, does he? Either Jowett or Ben Jones-Bishop. Just a shocker from Tom Lynham. Fafita now for Wakefield.
Good spot from Fafita. He comes from one side of the ruck to the other to get to Brad Dwyer, one of the smaller men on the pitch.
Anthony England this time hanging on to the football under pressure. Plays the ball to Kyle Wood. That was a Rona who shifted it wide to the right-hand side. Oh, was that a knock-on by Kermond? It was.
Well, just numbers in. Ryan Atkins and Deck Patton just manhandle him as they're bringing him to ground. He loses possession. See, yep, there's hands over from Deck Patton on the
His hand's all over that ball, isn't there?
It was almost Danny Kermon trying to pinch the ball back.
Exactly, yeah.
Stuart, you happy with that?
Yes, well, players are allowed to put the hand around the ball. They're not allowed to steal it, and the defenders are trying to clamp that ball up. Danny Kerman's trying to get the ball out, and by doing that, he's knocked the ball loose himself.
So here is Lynham for Warrington. Desperate to get back into this match on the scoreboard anyway. They're having a good territory at the moment, good possession. Not doing that much with it. Jack Hughes hanging on under extreme pressure from 3 defenders. Brad Dwyer waits behind him. Another knock on.
Jack Hughes has dropped it now.
Well, they've got a case of the dropsies, have Warrington today.
Well, this will frustrate the home fans, won't it? Craig Hooby now, he's on for Wakefield in place of David Fafita. He was involved in this tackle, and yet just a clean drop at the ruck. You work hard to get into this sort of field position, 25, 30 metres from the opposition's line, and you make mistakes like that. That's not good enough.
They've had the ball 8 times, Warrington. On 4 occasions, they've dropped it in a similar fashion to what we've just seen there. It's not surprising that they don't sit in the top half of the table. On the evidence of the first quarter of this match and the first few rounds of this season, they're not firing.
No, they're a shadow of the team of last year, which finished league leaders and runners-up in both major finals in 2016. An anguish that was repeated for Tony Smith in 2016. He did exactly the same at Leeds 11 years earlier. Knocking on the door of the 2 major trophies, but nothing forthcoming last year.
Craig Hooby and Sims coming together there on the blind side of the scrum. See that how that works out in this game.
Midway through this first half, Wakefield in possession, leading 12-0. One of the try scorers, Mason Caton Brown, gets them almost to halfway. Kyle Wood will get them over the halfway mark. Here is Craig Hooby. And Warrington deal with the threat of Hooby. Wood again comes down this left-hand side with Miller, and pass then to Hatley. Warrington get him down on tackle number 5. So expect the kick here from Miller, and there it is all along the ground. Rhys Evans, I think he was going for touch, but Rhys Evans decided, well, let's try and build something from here in broken play rather than putting the scrum down.
It's a good place to turn the ball over, isn't it? So close to Warrington's try line, trapped in the corner, only one way to go.
Big hit on Harvey Levett from Craig Hooby. Here's Ashton Sims.
And when you're bringing that ball away, you're looking who's in front of you. Good play the ball from Ashton Sims as they look to shift it left.
And here they go with Ratchford, and now Atkins. There's clear space ahead of Atkins here. Atkins has got to beat Jowett. He brushes Jowett off. That's great strength from Ryan Atkins. Great drive from Warrington. That's what they're capable of. Ryan Atkins with the try. 198 now for his career. The try in his Super League debut for Wakefield against Castleford way back in 2006. 4th Super League try of the year. After that, the try in the World Cup Series against Brisbane. Ryan Atkins breathes life into Warrington.
Well, Warrington are one of those sides that if they spot some space on the edge, they'll go for it, whether it be tackle 1, 2 or 3, close to the try line. And why not come up with plays like that when you've got the man like Ryan Atkins out on the edge? He's got so much speed, but what about the power as well? He backs himself. I thought he blew it here. Thought it was a 2-on-1 with the fullback, Max Jowett. But he goes into contact with Jowett, who can't bring him down. And the young fullback, who's another outstanding prospect in the game, he's got to be better on a man like Ryan Atkins. When he's going down the sideline, the gap, the space is created from Stephen Ratchford at the back. But you think you have him covered, you've got to make sure you're better than that. You've got to hit him with absolutely everything. But the pace, the power of Ryan Atkins is there for all to see. And right under the sticks for an easy conversion.
Yes, Atkins run down the wing, and it was watched by Max Jowett. I mean, I've never made a tackle in my life, but surely on a situation like that, you go for legs, don't you?
I think you're right today. I think you make a very important point. I think Max Jowett has underestimated Ryan Atkins, and he's attempted to stop him passing the ball and save a try, but that was too ambitious for a player with his sort of pace and power. And as he clears the lines, look, they've stretched him. They've tried to compress in the red shirt, so they were holding Warrington in the centre of the field. They've stripped them out wide, and it's the bump off there push again, and there's no way that any of the Wakefield players will get back. The Wolves are desperate for a magical play from this left centre. He's come up with it, and it's put a smile on their faces.
Eddie, that man's got one of the quickest play the balls in Super League. So he's very powerful up top. He hits, he bumps, he offloads the pass in the collision. But when you do that, and it's a bit of a mismatch, you've got to make sure you go around the legs, you hit him around the waist. No point trying to go up top.
Ashton Sims will carry the ball forward over the 30-metre line for Warrington, who are back in the hunt now, 23 minutes into the second half. Dwyer taking on Jacob Miller. Plays the ball to Gidley. Here is Jack Hughes again. Hughes gets the pass away to Gidley. Into centre field it goes to Westerman. Joe Westerman missed both of the games over Easter. Chris Hill. That's a new headgear that Hill is sporting, isn't it? Red and white tonight, today rather than the usual black. And there he is. And pick him out in that. Declan Patton. High kick to the left-hand side, looking for Lynham. Lynham collects the ball, and then that's good play. That's very good play by Ash Gibson, because he just allowed Lynham to collect the ball and then bundle him over the line.
Caught in two minds, wasn't he, as well? Do you go for the ball, or do you just wait for the man like Tom Lynham to catch the ball and maybe sting you?
He's got a good variety of kicks, Deck Patton, but I can't help thinking that was a little bit short, that little bit more depth, maybe perhaps into the corner. Might have put a bit more pressure on Wakefield, but they dealt with it, they handled it. And you have to say that Wakefield, in the context of the first 25 minutes, they look the better side. They're in front on the scoreboard. They're doing a lot of the things right.
What's remarkable about Wakefield, though, they haven't had to play the ball yet inside Warrington's 20 metres zone. They've just not been at that end of the field. I know they've scored 12 points, but they could do with some better field position to increase their chances, because too much is in their own half.
They're just over the halfway line now as Miller plays the ball to Wood. And Jowett goes down on tackle number 5. Only made 6 or 7 metres forward. Wood again. It'll come back to Miller. This will go high and into the corner. And Ratchford is after this. And Ratchford gets to it as well. When he releases the pass, they certainly like to take the risks, Warrington, don't they? They're good to watch when they do that.
Eddie thought he was going over the sideline then, didn't he, Stephen Ratchford? As soon as he catches that ball, you see he looks up, spots that there's no Johnston. Decides to take that option.
That's a knock on by Julien. Well, they're trying to be expansive, but the ball was a bit looped.
They're being expansive, but they don't have the skills actually to match their ambition at present. That's been the problem. They've taken some risks.
Brad Dwyer's now left the pitch for Warrington. Kevin Brown's come on. Looks like Kurt Gidley's going in the hooking position, so Deck Patton and Kevin Brown will be the half-backs.
There he is, Kevin Brown, concussed in the 22-all draw with Hull. He's missed the last 3. Remember, he also took a bit of a head knock against Lee. Former Widnes man who doubtless was watching last night and seeing his former club beat the Saints.
Well, it's all set for him this afternoon. His team are behind. 26 minutes on the clock. Can he come on and inspire the Wolves?
Involved in that first tackle on Arona. Here now Craig Hubie is involved in the second tackle in this set on Craig Hubie. But at last, Wakefield getting some play the balls inside the danger zone for Warrington. Miller, good hands. He finds Caden Brown again. Spins off a couple of would-be tacklers and then straightens it up. Takes on Julian and Hill. Kyle Wood is waiting. They're going to the right-hand side. And this is young James Batchelor. Look out for this young man, 19 years of age, a really promising back row forward. Anthony England takes it forward for Wakefield, thinking of the offload. Last one coming up for Wakefield. Miller is there, Finn is there, the 2 major kickers. It comes to Miller. Miller then pops it up to Jowett. Wide they go. Johnson gets the ball back, and the ball, though, it was in touch. The touch judge puts the flag up. Johnson had a foot in touch.
Wasn't it a good ball, though, to get the ball to Johnston? And a good tackle from Evans.
But he didn't have the foot in touch, actually. Doesn't look like it, Stuart.
No, it's very close, isn't it? I think there's a body in the way of Tusher's Warren Turley there as he's going across. I think he just rolls the ankle there.
Yeah, his foot's
it's very
in touch.
Close, very close.
I'd say his foot was in touch then, Eddie.
Warrington had a penalty which relieves the pressure.
Well, I said earlier on, Eddie, you want to dictate the pace of the game, and it's just too slow for the referees like in Ben Thaler's. Chris Chester will want to get the numbers in, peel off, communicate at the ruck, work as markers.
Third game of a very busy spell for all the Super League players. Easter is punishing. We have a second virtual Easter coming up, the back end of May, caused by the mid-season international in Australia against the Samoans. Good ball wide to Joe Westerman. And Atkins. There's Patton. Now Westerman up the middle. Missed out Gidley, or Gidley left it for Kevin Brown. Brown then puts Levett through a gap with a forward pass.
Well, he was going across the line, Kevin Brown. He looked as though he was going to drop a player off who cut a line underneath him with Jack Hughes, and then the forward pass to Levett. Just need a bit more depth on that run. The numbers were there. He spots the space, and a man with the intelligence that he's got, Kevin Brown. He's played 355 appearances in his career, 6 of those for England. He's certainly a man who can pull the strings and boss a side around.
Wants to repeat the try-scoring form he showed in 2014, I'm sure, when he registered 17 tries for Widnes. At the moment for Warrington, he hasn't scored a try in Super League, but he did get one, didn't he, on his debut against Brisbane. Ben Jones-Bishop now, met by King and Atkins and Julien. Liam Finn down the short side. Gibson plays the ball. Here's Keegan Hurst. He made an impression last time we saw him against Wigan on Easter Monday. Seems an eternity ago. It's only 5 or 6 days, isn't it?
Yeah, you just feel this game's going to open up, don't you? Last 10 minutes in this first half.
The kicking upfield by Wakefield hasn't been good. It's gone straight to Warrington hands on every occasion.
Yeah, it's got to be along the ground, hasn't it? You've got Tom Lyon and Rhys Evans, Stephen Ratchford all dropping back deep, the back end of the set, so it's going to be difficult for the kicker to find that space.
Rhys Evans bravely and gamely taking on 3 of the big men.
Tom Lynham the opposite. He's coming in helping the forwards.
He's King again now.
That look it was on as well, that offload.
Chris Hill. Again, the ball goes to ground, but Jack Hughes picks it up and retains possession for his team.
You can see Warrington are trying to be Warrington-like, but they're pulling the passes back, they're forcing the offloads perhaps when they're not in the best position. You very rarely see Dec Patton put a kick in with that quality.
It's going to be 6 to go, this, isn't it? Oh, no, he's got the ball back. He's got the ball back as Gibson.
I agree, Ed, it would have been if he would have kept hold of it.
It's a penalty instead.
So it comes from a paw kick, crossfield kick to the other side. Then all of a sudden it's played for by Gibson, who kicks the ball forward. Tom Lynham comes up with that ball. It's another set of 6. He loses possession. Wakefield get the ball. They give the penalty away because they're all over Gibson, and now they're defending 20 metres from the line. Instead, Eddie, they should have been down near Wakefield's line with a better kit.
This is Liam Finn, who gives it to Keegan Hurst. Westerman sought him out with Hill. King was involved in that as well. Miller now gives it to Arona. Warrington deal with that threat. Kyle Wood, Miller and Hubie and Finn. Good hands. Jowett wide to Ben Jones-Bishop. Knows where the try line is, this young man. Warrington know the danger. They quickly snuff it out.
Nice movement from Wakefield to get the ball to the winger.
Not the best pass, but Kyle Wood has it. And then a kick to the corner, inviting Johnson to chase. Johnson will chase. Johnson, can he pick it up and score? If he holds on to this, he has scored. It was a strange effort, but I don't think the ball was knocked on. I think that Johnson picked it up before it hit the ground. We'll have to wait and see, Stuart. It's over to your guys.
Just make sure it doesn't knock on.
It is a knock on the checking for,
and
on the
no
ground.
Try on the field.
There's no try on the field, and I think as he goes to try and pick the ball up, I think he fumbles it. as he bends over to get the ball. Before we check that everybody's onside, well, certainly they are outside him there. And this is the question: does he manage to pick the ball up cleanly, or does he kick it? Kicks it there. I think it hits his hand there at that point. So we've got a knock on as he tries to pick the ball up. So the no try on field by the match officials will be confirmed. Just as he goes to pick the ball up here, it just hits his hand. First of all, his foot, and I think it hits his hand there on the second time. So my view is that it's no try because of that knock on. Confirming the on-field decision of the official. It's not this first one which hits his foot. I think it hits his hand there. Just rolls it forward, the back of his right hand.
You've got to admire their attitude though, kicking on the third plate.
The more they look at it, the more chance you think that this could be awarded here for Wakefield.
Yeah, is it a fresh air shot after all of that? Did it really touch his hand? This is brilliant the way he picks it up out of the air again, but I don't think it's going to be given.
It's gone upstairs as a no try as well, hasn't it?
It was good play. I think it was Kyle Wood who put the kick through into open space, inviting young Tom Johnston to try to pick it up. Creative play from Trinity.
He seemed caught in two minds, didn't he, to either fall on the ball, to kick it through into the in-goal area. Didn't quite take it in, but...
The temptation's too much, isn't it? The try line just there, there's nobody in front of you. Do you pick the ball up cleanly, kick it forward? There's so much going through that player's mind.
You were right, Phil. The more you watched it, the less convinced you were that he'd actually got a touch on that.
Relief from Warrington here. Now, what they want to try and do is play the game quicker than their opponents and do that down the centre of the field with the likes of King here now and Hill and teammates.
Dear me, it could have been 16-6, and it might have been even worse than that as we approach half-time for Warrington, and Ratchford is gone without the ball. Wakefield are back in possession with Keegan Hurst. Big man, Keegan Hurst.
Eddie, they seem to be putting themselves under pressure. The opening 20 minutes, they were making errors close to Wakefield's line. Now they're making errors close to their line.
Liam Finn gets the ball away to Jowett. Jowett gets away from Deck Patton. Liam Finn's directing traffic. Here he is, barking out the instructions. It's Batchelor, isn't it? Yes, it is. Plays it to Wood. Here's Miller. And Dean Hadley is dealt with. 4 tackles gone. Wood and Miller. It's Liam Finn who had to bend for that. It's now Jowett. Jowett puts the kick into the ground. Well watched by Patton. Ben Jones-Bishop was hunting a try there.
He was running out of space, wasn't he, Jowett? He tried to straighten up the play, tried to fix the defender, but all of a sudden he realised that he just had to kick the ball forward, hoping that his winger, Ben Jones-Bishop, would get behind the ball here and come up with a try.
Good work from Warrington, working it away from their own line. Wakefield tried to get excited at the play the balls, but Warrington made good progress forward. They're at halfway now with Rhys Evans, and they're over halfway as we reach tackle number 5. Down he goes eventually. Brown will hoist the kick high and long, and Jowett lets this bounce. Didn't have much option really. It was a great kick from Brown.
With no chance of catching that, it was swirling all over the place. A good end to the set from Warrington. Phil's mentioned it before. They're running roughly at about 50% completion, Warrington.
Great pass from Miller to Ben Jones-Bishop, who's got away from a couple of would-be challengers. He's not tackled yet. He will be now.
Good job Tom Lynham was there, wasn't it? Just loitering with intent in the back of the plate.
This is a guy, Mason Kettenbrand. If he can get his hands on the ball a bit more often, I think there's something special to come from him today.
Fafita thrums it forward, tackle number 4, end-to-end stuff as we approach the half-time siren in this first half. Hubie is spun to the ground, tackle number 5. Finn is there waiting to pick it up, first receiver. There he is, the kick, cross field, looking for Miller. That ball has bounced everywhere. Knock on and offside, says the referee.
Big option here for 2 points, or did he try and go for another try here? Stretch the lead even more.
You go for 2 points here, Phil.
Well, I think they might do, because There are a couple of guys running on the field as we watch this. One of them bound to have a kicking tee in his hand, or a ticking clock in his other hand.
Scott Griggs has come on with a kicking tee. Here we go. Here's the kick.
Yes, got you.
Warrington, get up, get hold of it, lose control of the ball. Harvey Levett, unfortunately, can't collect it. I think it's Kevin Brown who picks the ball up and gives the penalty away, and Liam Finn will have a go at the 2 points.
Well, Brown couldn't hang around, could he? He couldn't let it bounce.
No.
Had to give the penalty away in many ways.
There's a risk if he lets that ball bounce, he concedes 6 points, let alone 2.
So Liam Finn, half-back in a goal against Wigan on Monday. Hooker in the first 2 this year for Liam Finn. 25 times he's pulled on the green of Ireland. Here he is today in the red, white and blue of Wakefield Trinity. And he adds the 2 points.
The kicking game's been very good.
It's the kick from Kevin Brown.
From both sets of players. Kevin Brown causing problem with that spiral kick. Tom Johnson just gets it, and then the crossfield kick over, targeting Levett. The pressure from Jacob Miller that forces that error, and you can see the wind.
It is the wind, but it's also the work that these players do, and the trajectory, the spirals, the way they try and make the ball deviate at the last 5 or 6 metres.
It's the pressure from the defence as well, Barry.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see whether Wakefield can use that wind in the second half. They'll have it at their backs. Good kickers in the shape of Miller and Finn, who can maybe
Eddie, they've got Miller,
prize a 40-20 out.
Miller, Finn, Wood, Sam Williams to come on.
It's Hadley again for Wakefield. Brought to ground. Wood to Hubie. 4 gone. Quick play the ball, that. Wood to Keegan Hurst. Keegan Hurst is halted though on halfway by a decent tackle from Joe Philbin. And there is the kick from Liam Finn.
Unusual play the ball by Keegan Hurst. I think Wakefield, they are dictating the pace and the speed of the ruck. It's the reason they're in front on the scoreboard. And when Warrington, I'm going to make the point again, they're running at 56% completion now. If they manage to control the ball, if they can get to the end of the sets, they control how they hand the ball over, then they're going to give themselves half a chance. If they keep making mistakes, then I'm afraid it's going to be Wakefield's day.
Here's Deck Patton. Warrington looking to close the gap towards half-time. A minute and 10 seconds remaining. They've got 2 tackles remaining this set. This is Gidley. Gidley goes down on the last. 15 metres away, left-hand side of the field. Kick, cross-field, looking for Harvey Levett. And finally Kevin Brown, but knock on, says the referee Ben Thaler.
They were calling for that on the right-hand side. They let Deck Patton take control of that kick.
And it does come off Harvey Levett's hands first.
It was in a brilliant position, the referee, wasn't it? Exactly where that kick in contest came down there. He was there to judge. Instant call.
And to be fair, so was Kevin Brown. He was in the right place. Unfortunately, the ball went forward.
So last 30 seconds of the half coming up, and Wakefield with ball in hand leading by 14 points to 6. Remember, they haven't won on this ground in 3 years. So a little bit of history is beckoning for Wakefield in the second half. They'll certainly take a lead in with them. Will it be the 8 they have now, or in the next 20 seconds will they come up with an error and will Warrington score to release things? No, they might get something better themselves, because here comes Miller. And it's Miller against the Warrington team. Oh, he almost gets past Stephen Radford, who does well.
Just couldn't get
hanging on.
Couldn't get it to Mason Caton Brown, could he? The man who's got the ball now.
Mason Caton Brown running quickly across the face of play. Over the top and out it goes. What a chance in the last 20 seconds of the half for a further score for Wakefield Trinity. They just couldn't get over the line, but look at this run from Jacob Miller. He was on his own. There was nobody with him. And a good job that Ratchford got that tackle in. Stephen Ratchford to the rescue. And Wakefield turn round 14-6 ahead. Gibson's try, Caton Brown's try, 2 in the opening 9 minutes, 12-0. Atkins got one for Warrington midway through the half, 6-12. And then Finn's penalty goal just before the half-time siren. It's 16-4 to Trinity as we turn round.